So just finished reading Something Wrong With Us 2, 3, and 4. This is all about confectionery, family conflicts, and some complicated romance. So we have this main character named Now. She's pretending to be someone else because now that she's involved with this man, they're actually about to get married. And this family she knows for a long time because she used to live in this family because her mom was a big head of a confectionery, because this family is known for sweets. However, her mom got framed, and so they were get kicked out, but then her mom passed away. Now that she's back in this house, she wants to find answer, like who framed her mom. Basically, a murder happened. The head family son was murdered, and this man that she's about to get married is actually a childhood friend, and he doesn't know her true identity. Anywho, so they have this complicated romance. They're just pretending to get married, I guess, to just spite everybody in the family. Her fiance named Subaki, we found out that he's not actually blood related to the whole family. He's like a bastard, if you know what I mean. Anywho, he still continue making sweets because he learns a lot from his late father. And yeah, and so now they're just trying to prove everybody that, you know, their sweets are the best. He doesn't want the family business to go down as well. However, there's a female in the family. I'm not sure if that is his mother. She's been trying to like make Now leave. Like, she's been trying to find a way to, I guess, ruin everything for them. Yeah, she has her own agenda, and then she's also like doing something behind their backs. And then yeah, very complicated family. And then even Subaki's grandfather, he doesn't like him because again, he's not blood related. And so yeah, very complicated family. But then in the end, like, Now and Subaki, all they want is to make sweets and make everybody happy, because you know that's what their passion is all about. And so yeah, eventually these two will start falling. Well, for him, he is starting to fall for her, but she's still unsure because it doesn't seem right, because she's only there to find answer and just to use him basically for her own benefits. But throughout the story, they faced so much challenges, especially the mom, because she has her own evil plan. And then they also want to prove the head, which is the grandfather, that their sweets is gonna make the family business do well. And yeah, it's not bad of a story. I like it. There's just a lot of like complicated situation. It's definitely a very dysfunctional relationship throughout the story, and that is why the title is Something Wrong With Us, because it just feels like they're not sure what they want, but in the end, you know, they're just doing everything they can for a very selfish way. But yeah, overall it's a nice story. I really like it. There's just some mystery behind it, and I'm just curious what's gonna happen next, if these two are gonna really get married, or if Now is gonna find her own answer. And yeah, so I can't wait to read more. I think there's already like over 15 volumes, so I'm getting there. So just finished reading Witch of Thistle Castle Volume 1. This was an interesting take about witches. So this story takes place about witches who can see spirits. Now they use the spirits to negotiate and help enhance their ability and powers. And if you can't control the spirits, they will control you instead. And so it's a very dangerous game, in my opinion. So you got this main character named Marie. She has an apprentice named Theo. Now Theo, he is the blood righteous of anger. He is inheriting a special power that was origin back in the days when witches began. He was sent by the church because they think Marie can sort of help his power. Now Marie has been living by herself all this time, and so she's feeling a little bit not lazy, but she doesn't really like to look after someone. But then with the power of the church, she can't really decline. So throughout the story, Marie helped Theo guide his power, and especially help him about the spirits, because the spirits can be very dangerous. And so they wear these glasses, I guess, to like avoid spirits from making an eye contact or making a deal. And yeah, Theo is learning a lot because he's been in the church for so long. He doesn't know too much about the world as well. For the first time, Theo was very successful dealing with a spirit because they had to do a side job regarding about a tree. this friend wanted this tree to live longer, and so yeah, everything was good. Then along the way they stumble a man. This man is from France. Now this story takes in London, I forgot to say that. Anywho, they wanted to invite them to go France. This man thinks that the blood ritual of anger came originally in France, and so they were invited to attend the celebration, and so they did. Overall, the story is really not bad. I like it because I like anything about witches, and it's a different take about witches. And yeah, can't wait for more volumes. I think there's only 4 volumes so far, so I'm not sure if this is a short series. No, this is very interesting because this publisher is from UK, and it was kind of like interesting that it is sold here in the US. I noticed a lot of Europeans publisher like has manga that we don't have here in the US, so I'm glad this is sold here. Now this manga size is very kind of small next to the US manga. I'm not sure if all UK manga or European manga is this size, but yeah, that's kind of neat. I feel like this size is almost like the Japanese manga, and so yeah, really like the story. Again, it's a very different take about witches. Let me just show you guys the first volume. Really nice illustration. I like it. It's just super easy to read and fast, as you can see. Looking for the blood righteous of anger, like how it all started, like how he inherited. And yeah, I like Marie. She's very sarcastic. Like, she doesn't really care what people think of her. Her favorite word is hush now. It's like saying whatever, or just, you know, keep your mouth shut. Anywho, I really like the story. Of course, there's some funny moments, which, you know, it's always a key to reading for me. So I just finished reading Yakitate or Yakitate Japan Volume 1. This is definitely for me because I love to bake, and this is all about baking. So in the beginning, you got this family who loves to eat rice in the morning. However, the sister wanted to prove to them that eating bread is also nice to eat in the morning. So one day she took her little brother to a bakery and let him taste bread for the first time, and he truly loved it, and his world is changed. And so now they want to prove to their grandpa that eating bread is really good. However, the grandpa's been eating rice all his life. Like, there's no way a bread can beat eating rice in the morning. And so one day they let him taste bread. However, that bread didn't do anything for him, and so they gave him a different bread that will do well with miso and natto, and it finally went well, and now the grandpa loves to eat bread. So now the little brother is so inspired to become a baker sometimes, because ever since he went to that bakery, the owner introduced to them to a lot of bread and also told him the history of bread. And yeah, and then he got accepted many years later to work for a job, but however, he thought that he was hired, but he's not. He had to go through like a preliminary test, and it was a very intense test because he was not the only one there, and besides, they can only hire one. And then throughout the competition, he decided to withdraw. It's because one of the contestants told a very sappy story about, oh, I really need this job because I need to support my brother and my sister, and so that is why he withdrew, even though he did so well throughout the competition. He made it to the final, and the final was to make croissant. Now, he's not very familiar with a lot of things, because to him, he only made like simple bread all his life. And so he was taught to make croissant with the dude with the sappy story, and then decided to work together, and they made this croissant. And that's when, after hearing his story, he decided to withdraw. And then actually that guy won at the very end, but he decided to withdraw also because it wasn't felt fair to him. Now, this company that held the competition is actually a famous bread company, and this is the main branch. And then one of the contestants pretended to be one is the granddaughter of the company, and so she decided to hire the 2 boys because she thinks they did so well. And so it's not really a big loss because they still got hired, even though it's not in the main branch. And so overall, I really like the story. It's very educational. You get to learn about how to make bread and the process, and there's more stuff to it that I didn't even know about making bread. But yeah, I'm so glad I picked this up. I actually got more, and yeah, there's already like over 20 volumes, so getting there. Now, this manga was published in the early 2000s, so it's pretty like those early mangas. So I really like the illustration as always, and here's an insight from the first volume. Yeah, so this is just a cool story because most of the time I read about cooking and this time it's just strictly about baking. And yeah, can't wait to read more because we'll see their journey about being a baker and as well learning about more about bread. So just finished reading Kami-sama Kiss. Oh my god, the whole time I was just laughing. This manga is really funny. Our two main characters, Tomo and Nanami, always bicker because Tomo, he's a yokai. He doesn't really like her. So the story goes, Nanami and her dad were in great debt. Well, the dad is, and so they were evicted, and then suddenly the dad disappeared. Nanami was homeless until he met a man, and then he was saying like, oh, I have a place for you, and it happened to be a shrine, and this guy is supposed to be the master, but then he doesn't feel like being one, and so he decided to give Nanami that title. And then when she went there, she was surprised to be a shrine, and then suddenly she met a bunch of yokai, and one of them is Tomo. Tomo is supposed to be a senshi, an assistant to the master, but Tomo refused to work with a human girl because she seemed powerless or useless. So he decided to leave, and then the other yokai wanted Nanami to still stay even though she wants to leave. However, they tried to persuade her, and then in order for Tomo to stay and obey her, she has to kiss him. And so she was kind of motivated, decided to go after him, and then something horrible happened. She was attacked by a yokai in this world because usually humans aren't allowed. One of the yokai with her told her that there's a way to summon and have a special power by writing something as a request, and so she wrote Tomo's name, and then Tomo appeared, and he didn't want to help her at all. Like he just find it amusing, and then suddenly she was in danger, and Tomo decided to help her, and then there was an accident. She suddenly kissed him, and just like that, the next day Tomo was very obedient, like he was very nice. And yeah, that's the story goes so far. It's just very funny because they're always bickering, they don't seem to get along. Even though like Tomo is binded with her after the kiss, he still doesn't like her. Sometimes he's just like doesn't want to be there. But overall, it's such a cute story. I like it because I like anything about yokai, but this yokai story is definitely funny. I can't wait to read more. So I'm always curious why some manga are titled the way they're titled. So this one is called Kami-sama because sometimes she's being called Kami-sama as a way to respect her, and then the kiss is because she kissed Tomo, so that way Tomo can become a senshi, an assistant. So that's basically it. Anywho, this is the first volume. Really good story so far. Again, it's just really funny. Now at the end of the story, she had her first assignment. A yokai wanted to meet a boy that she met 10 years ago. However, Tomo was saying like human and yokai can't really fall in love. Nanami wanted to help her find that boy, and then she did, and so she kind of helped that yokai transfer to like a human person for now, for in the meantime. And then yeah, they met, and then something happened. But yeah, overall I really like the story, really like the illustration because this was made early 2010, something like that, and I usually like all the illustration back in the early. Just finished reading Tomb Raider King. This is a manhwa or webtoon. I read 1 and 2. I have 3 and 4 on the side, so just gonna go over the first 2. So this is very similar to Solo Leveling, except this is all about a tome, and you have to collect as much relics. Now Solo Leveling, it's more like a dungeon, and they have to collect all these stones. But yeah, it has similarity because our main character also look at a screen. It tells him his skills and what he gains. So yeah, very similar to Solo Leveling. I have not read Solo Leveling, I just saw the anime, but yeah, it has that almost the same vibe. So yeah, basically one day there was a doorway to a tomb, and then suddenly people are starting to collect relics because these relics can be used as power, like to yourself as well. And yeah, it's like a race. Whoever gets the most relic, then the more relics you get, the more power you have. And so got this character name, I'm gonna do my best to pronounce his name, is Jo Hyun. It's a Korean name, but yeah, so he works under this really powerful company, and then suddenly when he was on a mission, he was betrayed, and he was almost like had a life and death situation, and then suddenly a crow appeared. He was giving a second chance to live again. However, he would have to travel 15 years ago before the tomb, appeared in South Korea, because it all started, I think, in the United States, and I think in Japan as well. And so, yeah, he traveled back in time. he knows everything about tomb and relics, and so he was very prepared. So he's starting over, starting this new journey, and also come up with a team, so this way he has a group of people that will help him find more relics. And so his main goal right now is go against the company that betrayed him, the main chairman, basically. And so he goes all this traveling just to find him, beat him like an auction. And they do met, and then suddenly a tomb appeared under them, and then a bunch of relics came out and tried to fight against them. Now these relics can actually talk, like they'll talk to you whether they like you or not, and then you have to kind of convince them like, hey, I'm your new owner, you have to work with me, basically. And so yeah, the fight continues, and of course our main character defeated these relics, and then I'm not quite sure if he was able to retrieve them, but yeah, and then the chairman got injured, and of course our main character was very satisfied winning and, you know, beating the relics, and also seeing the chairman kind of like failing. But then the chairman's still alive, of course, because again, like, they have their own relics that can be used as power. Some relic can be used for healer or weapon and stuff like that. After that, they have to find this person that does restoration relic, because sometimes a relic can be damaged, and so they have to find this person that can restore it and fix it. And so yeah, it was also another competition between these two, because there's always the competition between these two. They do manage to find him, but now this person is trying to decide who he wants to work with. But of course he ended up working with our main character because he's very manipulated, in my opinion. But yeah, overall it's a really good story. I really like it. It's a bit of adventure, mystery, and then the relics is very interesting. You get to learn about what they're used for, their power, because they do give you like a little bit insight or background information or history about it. But yeah, I really like the story. Not so bad so far. So here's volume 1 and 2. Of course, since it's a manhwa and webtoon, the pages is going to be colorful. Now when it comes to the quality of being colored, it's not very top quality in my opinion. Some pages were a little bit hazy and blurred, but you know, it's still nice that it's colored. So overall, I really like the story. I think the most interesting part about it is the relics. You get to learn about its history and its use. And then our main character, he's a little bit manipulated. He seems he's always serious, but that's okay. But there is still some funny moment, because, you know, I don't want something too serious, if that makes sense. But yeah, can't wait to read more of this story. Okay, this is like one of my favorite romance so far. It's called The Ice Guy and a Cool Girl, volume 5. I read the first 4 volumes about 3 weeks ago, so I'm continuing for more of it. This is all about a cute little romance happening in the office. It's a slice of life. Now our main character, this guy, he's the descendant of Snow. You also have other characters where they are the descendants of Phoenix, a fox, and yokai so far, and they're all co-workers. In this volume they don't have a new character, which, you know, if they're descendant of something. But yeah, we're just continuing the story where he has the biggest crush on her. They're both co-workers. Just, you know, he's just trying his best to stay cool and stay mutual, because he really likes her, and then her, like, she's so nice and kind to him, and that is why he liked her so much. And then yeah, suddenly they had a business trip, and then he was invited one time to her place. However, her sister was also invited, and so it's a really cute romance. I really like it. I like that it's slow burn romance. It's not very fast. I think she's finally like feeling something for him, because during the business trip, like, she just felt something after taking care of him. Now during the business trip he got really sick, and then when he gets sick he turns to a little boy. I think it's just some sort of side effects, but yeah, it's so adorable. I am so sorry if this is gonna sound a little bit negative, but like, I wish this manga was a little bit more story, more chapter, and it's kind of thin and very fast. And if you're collecting this, it's gonna cost $15, and that's very high for a very thin manga, if that makes sense. But yeah, overall I really like the story. It's cute. I like this too. For now they have this nice friendship, but for sure she's starting to have feelings. It's kind of showing on this volume, so we'll see on the next volume. I really can't wait. But then again, like, I wish there was more to it, if that makes sense. But yeah, can't wait to read volume 6. I believe volume 6 just came out recently. So starting another series, of course. Now this series is actually new. I think it came out either June or July, and so this one's called Royal Tailor Clothier to the Crown. So it's about this young girl who's a tailor. However, her peers or acquaintances are actually different species, from snakes to fox, all different types. There's even a vampire, a goat. Now there was a war between human and all these species. However, human lost, and so I think they live in a different area, and she goes to this town where it's just mostly species, and then whenever the species sees human, they dislike human, like really hate human. However, like she's getting defended by her boss because she got a job as a tailor. So I guess not all species hate humans, because her boss is very nice, and her boss always defend her if a species is very mean to her. And so it's just about clothes, making clothes. And yeah, throughout the story, she helps clients with their problem. Most of them has personal problem, and she usually gets involved, and then throughout that, then it deals with like, oh, clothing, and yeah, it just makes everybody like happy. And so one time her client was a royal, and then another client was had an engagement issue, and she was able to kind of like resolve their problems. And then the other another client was, apparently he passed away, he became a zombie, and I guess he wanted to redo their wedding. Yeah, it's a really cute fantasy story. I really like it. I didn't really expect this to be all about other species. I thought it was just your typical fantasy, but yeah, I really like the story so far. It's definitely up my alley. I love fashion. And yeah, again, throughout the story, she goes through different clients with all different issues, and she somehow gets involved because she's very super kind. And at first, sometimes the client really don't like her because she's human, and eventually they respect her as a tailor because she does an amazing job making clothes for them. And in the end, it was a very surprising. They throw a big party for her. It's like a welcome party. All her clients were there, all different types of species. They're just having fun, and she's just very super happy that, you know, she's being accepted for being a human. She does a really amazing job with her work as well, and so I can't wait to read more of this. I was really super excited when I picked up this manga, and so glad that I stumbled this on Instagrade because I didn't know this was coming out. But yeah, really like the story so far. Now, it's not all about fashion or tailoring. Again, like she goes through all different obstacles with her clients, and it's pretty cool because all her clients are all different type of species. And so here's some insight from the first volume. Really nice illustration, really easy to read, easy to follow. Yeah, I'm looking forward for volume 2. Hopefully that's gonna come out soon, because again, this just came out, I think it was June or July, something like that. But yeah, we're looking forward to read more of this, see where the story goes, especially for the main character being a tailor. Here we go. So this one's called Otherworldly Izakaya Nobu. This is a food manga. Now, it takes place in Germany. A new restaurant just opened called Izakaya Nobu, and it's been buzzing with a lot of good reviews. And so a lot of people have been coming here, especially after a long hard work. People come here to drink booze and enjoy really good food, especially if they're not very well aware that it's not very your typical restaurant, because a lot of people, I guess in this time, just eat a lot of like sausage and bread and potatoes. But here in this restaurant, it mostly focused on a lot of Japanese cuisine, but with a twist. At the end of the day, people enjoy their time here just to enjoy the food, the booze, especially during winter, and so it really suits the body. And yeah, overall, I really like the story. It's a big comfort and slice of life, and it's definitely up my alley because I like to read anything food related. Now, there's actually a famous restaurant called Nobu. They serve sushi and sashimi. And so when I saw it, it's like, oh yeah, definitely I need to grab this because, of course, it's all about food. But this one, it mostly focuses on Japanese cuisine as well as, you know, mix of German food. But yeah, really nice story. I like it so far. Now, the cover has that French flap, really nice. And of course, some few pages that are colored. But yeah, really good quality, nice illustration. I can't wait to read more. I believe there's 8 volumes. I'm not sure if this is like an ongoing or this is a short series, but for now, yeah, looking forward to read more of this manga. I forgot to mention this, but a lot of the food here mentioned is in German. Of course, they have the translation on the side, but it just takes time to get adjusted because throughout the story, it will be in German. And so most of the time, they won't have the translation appeared. It's only appeared once. And so, yeah, I got the hang of it, but overall, I'm just like, it's food. It will make sense after just looking at the picture, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm gonna end this reading log. And so it was still quite successful reading log. I read a lot of volume 1s. I'm gonna save Tomb Raider King volume 3 and 4 on the next reading log. I think because I just want to take a little break from that. It was a pretty long read, but it was still really good and exciting. But overall, such a good read this week. Finally read more of Something Wrong With Us. Again, I read a lot of volume 1. So far, they're so good. Not a very disappointing week again. Really nice to read more series, even though I still have a long way to go from my other TBR. But other than that, such a good read. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. See you next time.